Hey, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Digital Yoga Church. Pastor Michael and Jill here, and Karen Hughes. We're so glad that you could be with us this morning. And today, for those of you that come from the Christian tradition, for those of you in the Christian tradition, for us, it is Good Friday. And we welcome anybody, you don't have to be Christian to do Digital Yoga Church with us. We just welcome all people. But in the Christian tradition, Good Friday is the day that we remember the death of Jesus on the cross, who takes away all the brokenness and fragmentation of the world in his own body and heals all human beings through this act. So I just wanted to read this really quickly, and then I'm going to turn it over to Karen for our yoga practice. But in the Gospel of Matthew 27 chapter, it says, "From noon on, darkness came over the whole land until 3 p.m. And at about 3 o'clock, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, 'Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani,' which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And when some of the bystanders heard it, they said, "This man is calling for Elijah." And at once one of them ran and got a sponge and filled it with sour wine and put it on a stick and gave it to him to drink. But the other said, "Wait, let us see whether Elijah will come to save him." Then Jesus cried out with a loud voice and breathed his last. And at that moment, the temple curtain was torn in two from top to bottom, and the earth shook and the rocks were split. So in this moment of Jesus' death, the ground shakes, the temple veil, which is kind of this really thick curtain, phone book thick curtain in the temple, is torn, which is symbolic now that it's not just the high priest who can go into the Holy of Holies with a rope tied around their waist, but that now all people have direct access to God through what Jesus has done, and kind of making us all really part of a priesthood or a ministers, if you will, that all of us have a calling on our life to love our fellow human beings, to love each other, to love God with all that we are. So we're kind of sitting in darkness today with candles, because in the Christian tradition, it's a somber day. It's also what we call Good Friday. And some say, well, what in the world? Why would you call it good that Jesus suffers and dies on the cross? What's good about that? And the reason that we call it good is because we know that on the cross, God took on the suffering, our suffering. God took on our viruses. God took on death and pain and loss in his own self. So we don't worship a God who's far away from us or inaccessible to us. But for those of us who believe in Jesus, we believe in a God who's with us in our suffering, in our pain, and even in this quarantine as we go through this together. Hi, Natalie, welcome. So I want to encourage you, wherever you are, if you just put your name and where you're at in the different chats, we'd love to just know who you are and get your name and pray for you throughout the week. So we encourage you to do that. And I'm going to say a brief prayer, and Karen's going to take it away for us. God, we thank you for this morning, and we sit in the darkness of the COVID-19 pandemic, and we remember the darkness that you suffered. We remember the pain and the agony of the cross that you took on our behalf, and how you came and confronted brokenness and pain and sickness and death on our behalf. We love you, God, and even as we sit in the darkness, we look to the hope of Easter that's coming soon and the promise of resurrection we have in our lives. So we thank you for this time to worship you with our bodies. We thank you for Karen as she so marvelously leads us in this time as we whatever stress we're carrying this week, whether we're just learning how to homeschool our kids, or whether we're sitting alone in our living room, or whether we're just really disoriented and confused, we remember the disorientation that you experienced and the pain. And we come together in this time and we invite you to bring your presence into our lives in a new and fresh way. And it's in Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Amen. So Karen's going to take it away.
Good morning. Welcome to yoga. I'd like to start with the idea of being more aware of your mind, your body, and your spirit, and especially your body as we go through our different poses, because this is really your practice, and so the practice should feel good for your body. So if there's anything that doesn't feel right or it hurts, please stop doing it and modify. Just stop and breathe and take a moment to listen to your body. But let us start with the heart of yoga, breath. Let's close our eyes and just breathe. In through the nose and out through the nose. So take this time with your eyes closed as you breathe to become more aware of your breath. Maybe let your breath be a little bit longer, a longer inhale, and even a longer exhale than your inhale. As we clear our minds of all the clutter and the anxiety of this virus that surrounds us, let us just clear the mind, open up your mind, and just maybe if you're a Christian, you meditate on the gift that was given to us on Palm Sunday as Jesus died for us to save us. Or maybe there's another intention in your life that you'd like to focus on, meditate on. You can use that intention through your practice today. And with your eyes closed, let us change our breath pattern to a purifying breath. Inhaling as deep as you can in through your nose, so deep you feel it go all the way down into your belly. And pause. And then exhale through your mouth all the old air out of your body, renewing new air as you breathe in through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. In through the nose, maybe inviting positivity. And exhaling through the mouth, letting go of any negativity. Let us return to normal breath, in through the nose and out through the nose as we open our eyes and use our breath through our practice today to guide our movements. Take your arms out long with your palms up. Inhale to float the hands up and exhale, hands over heart center. And namaste, peace be with you today. Inhale to float the hands up, reaching the arms out long, exhale. Again, move at your own pace, letting your breath guide your movement. Inhaling and exhaling with each big stretch. Maybe gazing up, reaching out long. Fingers are like feathers as they touch the earth. Inhale, maybe nodding as you bring your hands over heart center. One more big stretch. Let's reach our arms out as long as we can, floating the fingertips down to your mat. Going into some side stretches, flip that left palm up, take it up and over. Again, move at your own pace. The higher you reach, the more strength you pull in. The farther you tip over, the more flexibility. Let the movement feel good. Sometimes I like to envision that I'm in a pool in the deep water, just moving the water with my hand. One more big side stretch. Coming back to the center, resting your hands by your side as we go into some shoulder shrugs with breath. Inhale to shrug up. And exhale to push the shoulders down away from the ears. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. On the next shrug, let's take the shoulders around to the back in slow motion. Inhaling and exhaling with each big shoulder roll to the back. Feeling the shoulder blades slide up and slide down. Releasing any tension in the upper back with each breath. One more big shoulder roll, relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears as you grow as tall as you can. Through the crown of your head, keeping your spine long. We're going to go into some neck stretches. Drop your chin to your chest and let your head be heavy. You can close your eyes here. And breathe 3 breaths, stretching the back of the neck. Keeping the chin on the chest, we're going to let the spine go. Let the rib cage cave in and the shoulders round forward. Relaxing the shoulders, the elbows, the wrist, relaxing your whole body. Let your head be heavier and heavier. And breathe. On the next inhale, let's slowly roll our chin up towards our left shoulder. And when you get there, sit as tall as you can. We'll do some half neck circles in slow motion with breath. Inhale to drop the chin to the chest, once again rounding the spine. And on the exhale, come up to the right shoulder and grow tall again. And again, inhale, dropping the chin to the chest, rounding the spine, letting it go. And then bringing your chin up to your left shoulder and sitting tall again. And one more half neck circle. Inhale. And exhale, sit as tall as you can, bringing your gaze back to the center, growing tall through the crown of the head and relaxing your shoulders down away from your ears. As we drop our left earlobe towards our left shoulder with a heavy head. And breathe. On the next breath, lifting the head back to the center and looking over your right shoulder in slow motion with breath. Inhale to slowly look over your shoulder. And exhale to come back to the center. Grow tall again. As we drop our right earlobe towards our right shoulder with a heavy head. And breathe. And on the next breath, lift your head back up to the center as we now look over our left shoulder slowly with breath. Inhale to look over the shoulder. And exhale to come back to the center. So it's important that you're seated in a comfortable position with your knees bent. If you don't like folded legs or it just doesn't feel good, maybe you just bend your legs a little. We're going to do some upper body circles to begin some movement through our spine mobility. So start small and begin to circle your upper body. Maybe rounding your back as you go to the back. Maybe lifting your heart as you come forward. Inhaling and exhaling with each circle. Maybe you let your circle get bigger and bigger as it feels good for your body. One more big circle, and then we're going to change the direction of our circle. Again, starting small. Inhaling and exhaling with each upper body circle. One more big upper body circle. Coming back to sitting as tall as you can as we go into a seated cat and cow. So this is an option if we cannot come to our hands and knees for our kneeling cat and cow. This just feels really good for the spine. So let's try it seated, holding onto your knees. You're going to hinge forward, lift your gaze, lift your heart, and fill your lungs up with air with an inhale. And on the exhale, nod your chin and slowly roll back to somewhat of a Halloween cat back. Inhale to hinge forward, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze. And exhale to round back into seated cat pose. Let's do 2 more sets. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And come back to tall spine. Let's straighten our legs out in front of us. I'm just going to turn to the side so the vision is a little better. This is staff pose. You can ground your legs by pointing your toes up to the ceiling and flexing your feet. You can use your fingertips under your armpits to grow a little bit taller and you're in staff pose. Let us breathe here. And if you want more, maybe you float your hands up to the ceiling for a little extra. Reaching for the ceiling and with a long spine, hinge forward 2 or 3 inches, continuing to reach for the ceiling, and breathe 3 breaths here. You can stay here, and if your spine allows you, if you don't have any lower disc issues, you can begin to forward fold by hinging and continuing to reach with your arms long, reaching for your toes. Maybe nodding your chin, bringing your nose towards your knees, and breathing 3 breaths here. On the next breath, we're going to slowly begin to round our spine up to tall spine, stacking 1 vertebra at a time, working with your spine. Lifting your chin up last. We're going to pull that left knee in, cross it over our right leg, and sit as tall as you can as we begin spinal rotation. I'm going to take my right elbow around that left knee only to get taller as I take my left hand around to the back and lift my eyes, lift my heart, and breathe. So breath is very important here in spinal rotation. You want to inhale so deep that you feel your lung and your rib cage expand. On the next breath, we're going to come around to the center, switch our elbow grip, and slowly rotate around to our right, lifting our eyes, lifting our heart, and breathing deep for 2 breaths. Inhale, and on the exhale, come back to the center as we drop that left knee down with our left ankle on top of our right knee. Sit tall. This is a hamstring stretch. Maybe this is good for you. If you want more stretch, you can lean back with a tall spine, sliding your right heel in, and then hinging forward with a long spine, cradling your knee and gently rocking it. Or maybe you cradle your lower leg and gently rock it. Try to keep your spine long and try to lean in towards your shin, towards your bent knee, and gently rock. On the next breath, we're slowly going to release our stretch as we straighten out our left leg. Sit tall and pull your right knee in. Cross it over your left leg as we go to spinal rotation on this side. Slowly take that left arm around your right knee only to get tall. And then slowly rotate around to your right, lifting your eyes, lifting your heart, and breathing as deep as you can on your inhale. Just stretch the rib cage. Feel the lungs expand. On the next breath, let's slowly come back to the center as we slowly begin to rotate with a long spine around to our left once again for 2 breaths, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, and inhaling deep. And on the next breath, slowly come back to the center, this time dropping your right knee with your right ankle over your left knee, sitting as tall as you can for a hamstring stretch. And if you want more, sliding your left heel in with a long spine, lean back. And then again with a long spine, lean forward, cradling the knee to rocket, or maybe you cradle your lower leg. The beautiful thing about yoga is that we're all built differently. So we all move differently. So remember that, and remember that this is your practice, and you should be moving in ways that feel good for your body. On the next breath, we'll go in and straighten out that left leg, uncross your legs. Go on and pull that left knee in, sit as tall as you can, stretching the spine, and then let your knees fall to the side as the soles of the feet come together for a seated butterfly. You can hold on to your knees, your shins, your ankles, whatever feels good. Relax your shoulders. Maybe you stay here, maybe you want more. If you want more, you're going to use your hand grip to hinge forward with a long spine. Let your elbows float over your knees. Tuck your chin and gently press your knees out and down as your nose falls towards your toes. Try to relax your shoulders and breathe. On the next breath, slowly roll your spine up to tall spine. Lifting your chin, taking your knees back together as we transition to hands and knees for seated cat and cow. Bringing your hands to the front and your knees towards the back. Alignment is so important here to prevent any injury. So be sure that your wrists are under your shoulders, and your wrists, your knees, and your feet are all in alignment. Tuck your chin, we're moving into cat pose. Round your spine up like you're lifting up the space between your shoulder blades towards the ceiling. Pull your belly into your spine as your eyes move to your belly. Tuck your pelvis. Feel the stretch, the opening up between each vertebra. And then as though your spine was a wave, we're going to slowly roll into cow pose, dropping the belly to the earth, dropping the chest towards the mat until you lift your heart, lift your gaze, soften your elbows and your wrist. Inhale. And on the exhale, begin to round back slowly into cat pose. Moving with breath. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And one more set. Inhale. Exhale, hold the cat pose. As we drop into child's pose, so your toes are not curled under, rather they're flat. Dropping your buttocks to your heels. It's an extended child's pose. Reaching your arms out as long as you can in front of your shoulders. Dropping your forehead, dropping your elbows. And you are in an extended child's pose. Just breathe 3 breaths here. On the next breath, come back to hands and knees. As we move into downward dog, we're going to go into some vinyasas, a vinyasa flow. So curl your toes under, lift your knees, lift your sits bones up towards the ceiling, stretch, pushing the earth away with the palms of your hands and the balls of your feet. Transitioning your body weight through your whole body. As we drop our left heel down, bend your right knee. As you drop your right heel down, bend your left knee. And maybe you go a little faster, left, right. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Pressing both heels down towards the mat as the sits bones push a little bit higher. We're going to move into plank. If you lift your heels up as high as you can and then drop your shoulders over your wrist, you'll be in a good plank. Be sure that your hips are not sagging. It would rather be better for them to pike up a little. And if this feels too challenging, it's perfectly okay to drop your knees or not. We're going to hold our plank poses for 3 breaths. Pull your belly into your spine. Make sure your weight is transitioned through your whole body and not all on your upper body. On the next breath, we're going to bend our elbows and lower our body down to the mat with our fingertips alignment with our shoulders. Squeeze your elbows into your rib cage. We're going to move into cobra pose. Be careful if you have any lower back issues. It will compress your lower back. So maybe you just lift a little with an inhale and lower back down with an exhale. Or maybe you're someone that can lift a little bit higher. Inhale and exhale. And one more, inhale and exhale. And from here, push your hands into the mat as you come back into your child's pose. But this time for 1 breath, because we're going to flow through our vinyasas in a flow style yoga. So come back to the hands and knees, tuck the toes under, and reach the sits bones up towards the ceiling. Press the left heel down, right, left, right. Both heels pressing down, sits bones pressing up. And by the way, if you have glaucoma or high blood pressure, child's pose would be an option for you instead of downward dog. And then on the next breath, lifting the heels up, coming into your plank pose, knees up or knees down. Thinking strong, breathing deep, pulling the belly into the spine, engaging your core, and breathe. So in our vinyasas, we have choices after plank. You can go back to your cobra, or maybe you drop into chaturanga. Chaturanga, you just squeeze your elbows in and lower your body like you're just going to hover your mat for 3 breaths. Holding your body up with your elbows. Now, sometimes you can't hold it up for 3 breaths, so maybe you drop down and go into your cobra. And breathe 3 breaths in chaturanga or cobra. On the next breath, push back into your child's pose, only to transition back into downward dog. Pressing the sits bones up and pressing the left heel down, right, left, right, pressing both heels down, sits bones up. And then transitioning back into your plank, dropping your shoulders over your hands, maybe dropping your knees, pulling your belly into your spine, and breathing. Now you can go back to cobra or chaturanga or join me for up dog. In up dog, we uncurl the toes and slowly float the hips down towards the mat as you lift your heart, lift your gaze, and breathe. Transitioning back into child's pose. And then back into downward dog. Stretching through the spine. Dropping the left heel down. Right, left, right, pressing both heels down. So from here, you can either step forward or hop forward into a standing forward fold, or maybe a yoga squat, a deep squat. So if you hop forward, you can just hop right into your squat. Bringing your hands over your heart, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, using your elbows to open up your knees away from each other. Maybe closing your eyes and breathing. So yoga squat is a good pose for anxiety. So if ever you're just feeling anxious and you need to relax, this would be a great pose to go into, closing your eyes and breathing. If you're in a yoga squat, you're going to take your hands down, swing your heels out, and slowly begin to roll up towards standing. If you're in standing forward fold, also come up to standing. Inhale, reaching your hands up, and exhale, hands over, heart center. I thought we might warm up our core temperature with some moonflowers today. So spread your feet as wide as your shoulders or even wider. And then float your hands up and then out into a Y. Moonflowers are all about your breath and your body. Inhale to take the elbows in. Exhale to reach out. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, good energy. Exhale out that bad energy. Let's change it up and do some sunflowers. Just make a sunflower with your hands. Inhale and exhale. One more. Take the hands all the way up above the crown of your head. Open them up into goalpost arms and move into a squat. This is called goddess pose. So here, we can tuck our pelvis, pulling our belly into our spine to protect our lower back, and just breathe. Now we can move into some cactus claps here, taking the elbows and the palms out in front. And then open up your heart. Inhale to close. Exhale to open the heart. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and hold. Reach up, bring the hands back over your heart center. If your toes are turned out, go on and bring your heels out and your feet parallel, straight forward as we move into a good morning pose. Inhale to float your arms out into a T and hinge halfway over. So long spine, long legs, long arms. This is good morning pose. Breathe. You can stay here or join me for a revolving triangle. You're going to drop your left fingers under your heart, under your chest, and float your right hand up towards the ceiling along with your gaze. Slowly come back into arms in a T, good morning pose. As we switch sides, dropping the right fingers under the chest and floating the left hand up along with our gaze. And then coming back into good morning pose, only to hinge back up. Inhale to float the hands up, exhale, hands over, heart center. Let's take our heels in, our big toes in, heels, toes, toes. We're going to go into our tree pose, our balance pose. So let's start with our hands on our heart. And if you can find a spot wherever you are, focus on that spot, something that's not moving, it would help. It also helps to meditate or to pray. So lifting up your left heel, maybe that's all you do. Maybe you want more, you can let your heel sit against your inside ankle. Maybe you float your foot up a little or a lot. And breathe 5 breaths in your tree pose. Maybe you want to become a tall tree today with lots of branches. This is where the wind comes in. Inhale. Exhale, drop your toes, drop your hands by your side. Flip your palms forward. We're going to move into mountain pose. I encourage you to close your eyes as long as you don't feel unbalanced. And close your eyes so that you can feel the connection of the soles of your feet to the earth. And breathe. Imagine you're a mountain, strong and sturdy, as you grow taller through the crown of the head. And breathe. Pressing all 4 corners of the soles of the feet into the mat. Continue to breathe as we have taken away one of our senses, our eyesight, so that our brain can remember this connection. Inhale. On the exhale, open your eyes. Float your hands up towards the ceiling and hands back over heart center as we move into tree pose on the other side. So again, you can just lift up the heel. Maybe you set the heel against the inside ankle. Maybe you stay there. Maybe you want more. It's your tree. So breathe in your tree pose for 5 breaths. On the next breath, maybe you become a tall tree. Maybe you have lots of branches. Woo! Maybe you're just a big old bush today. Breathe. And then release. We're going to move into one more balance pose. It's called chair pose. You're going to pretend there's a chair behind you. Float your arms up towards the ceiling or the sky. Sit back into a pretend chair. Gaze down, be sure you see your toenails. If you can't, then lift up a little higher. Pull your belly into your spine and hold your chair pose for 3 breaths. Inhale and exhale. Reach up, stand up, float your arms all the way back around over heart center. We're going to go into our warrior series next. So come to the front of your mat. And we're going to step back with our left foot. Now, if you need a chair or something to hold on to, it would be a good time to grab a chair. It's okay to have assistance if you need it. Step back with your left foot, not a little, but a lot. So you want to step back as far back as you can. So we're going to start in crescent lunge. So reach your arms up. Ideally, your back leg is straight. Your back heel is lifted but pressing toward your mat. Your hands and your shoulders and hips are all stacked in alignment. I'm going to try to hold the poses a little bit longer today, considering that it is Good Friday. And then we move into Warrior One, just turning your back foot out to the side. So Warrior One, you want to rotate your upper body a little more to the right. And then we move into Warrior Two, dropping your left arm to the back and your right arm to the front. So ideally, your wrist would be over your shoulders. That would be a good alignment, and it's something to work towards. Warrior Two. And then Peaceful Warrior. Drop your back hand to your back thigh. Flip your front palm up. Begin to reach up towards the ceiling. Or if you want more, you can continue to reach up and towards the back. Let's breathe 3 breaths here. And then we come back into Warrior 2. This is our reset position or pose, Warrior 2. You can always come here if you feel off balance to stabilize. And then we move into side angle. You're going to drop your front elbow to your front thigh. Reach your back hand up to the ceiling. Gaze down to your big toe in the front. And then if you want more extended side angle, you can extend your hand down to your ankle or your mat. If you still want more, maybe you gaze up. And breathe for 3 breaths. And then we slowly come back into Warrior 2. And then we move into triangle, straightening your front knee, your right knee. Hinge forward, drop your hand to your thigh or your shin. As you gaze down to your front big toe, protecting your neck. Reaching your back hand up to the ceiling. Maybe you want more and you gaze up to the ceiling. And breathe 3 breaths here. And then slowly come back into Warrior 2. And then we're going to go into Warrior 1, taking that back arm forward, reaching up. And then crescent lunge, small but challenging transition, lifting up your back heel and turning your back foot. Crescent lunge. And then we're going to hinge over into a deep runner's lunge. Straddling your front foot, your front ankle is under your front knee, and breathe. Breathe 3 breaths here. And then we're going to drop that back knee. As you uncurl the back toes, press your hips forward for a kneeling crescent lunge, floating the arms all the way up to the ceiling once again. Maybe staying here, maybe adding a twist. Drop the left hand down, rotate to your right, and reach. And then we'll rotate that top hand down so both hands are at the inside ankle of your front foot. You can stay here. Maybe you want more, you can drop down to your elbows. Wherever you are, breathe 3 breaths. And then if your elbows are down, go in and straighten your elbows and straddle that front foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee. And as you lift your hips, you're going to slide that left foot forward into a standing forward fold. So you can bend your knees if you need to or straighten them. Hang down like a rag doll and just let it feel good. Maybe you take your hands under your heels and add a little resistance to get your nose a little closer to your knees, or not. We're going to reverse swan up. Inhale to float the hands up. And exhale, hands over, heart center. Let's do warriors on the other side, stepping back with your right foot, not a little, but a lot. So the farther you step back, the bigger your base, and the easier it is to hold your balance. Long back leg, heel is lifted, but pressing down. Float the arms up, crescent lunge. Stacking the hands and the shoulders and the hips in one alignment. And then moving into Warrior 1, turning the back foot forward, but then rotating your upper body to the left. And Warrior 2, taking your left arm forward and your right arm to the back. Reach. Check your alignment. And then Peaceful Warrior, take it to the back. And on the next breath, move back into Warrior 2 to reset. As we move into side angle, you'll drop your front elbow to your front thigh. Reach your back hand up to the ceiling. Maybe it's an extended side angle for you or not. Breathe. If you want more, you can gaze up to the ceiling, or you can keep your eyes focused on your front big toe to protect the neck. And then come on back into warrior two. And then triangle, straighten out your front knee, hinge forward, drop your hand to your thigh or your shin as you float your back hand back up to the ceiling. So legs are straight, arms are straight, eyes are focused on the big toe or on the top hand. Slowly come back into warrior two. As we go back into warrior one, take your back arm forward, float your arms up, and then crescent lunge. Go on and take that back heel, turn it, turn your foot, hinge over into deep runner's lunge on this side. Ideally, your knee is under your ankle. Your ankle is under your knee. And then we're going to drop that back knee, uncurl those back toes as we move into kneeling crescent lunge, floating the arms up, reaching, pressing the hips forward for a hip flexor stretch, and breathing. So maybe you stay here, maybe you add that twist, dropping the right arm down, twisting to the left. And then going to take that top hand, windmill it down. So it's on the inside of the front ankle with your other hand. You can stay here, or maybe you drop down to your elbows, or not. It seems one side always seems to be harder than the other. And this time, we're going to lift our hips and we're going to slide that left foot back next to the right foot. As we go into a traditional child's pose, the big toes touch, the knees separate. The forehead comes down as the hands come back by the ankles with the palms up. Let's breathe 4 breaths here. On the next breath, let's bring our hands back out in front, come back to kneeling. As we transition back onto our buttocks, you can sweep your feet around and you can cross your ankles and roll back. Take your feet out in front. Let's take our hands behind our knees, behind our thighs. To grow as tall as we can, pull your heels in. Relax your shoulders. And now we'll roll past the tailbone as we move into boat pose. But before we do, let's take advantage of this time to stretch the spine. So holding on to your legs, look at your belly and pull your belly into your spine, round your spine. Once again, stretching the spine, creating space between each vertebra. Be sure you're not on your tailbone. As you lift your chin, lift your chest, drop your shoulders, and bring one leg into tabletop, maybe 2. It's your boat pose. Maybe you reach one arm up, maybe the other. Maybe you sit a little taller. Maybe you go into a full teaser boat, or you keep your legs in tabletop. Continue to lift your heart, lift your gaze, reach your arms long and breathe. On the next breath, grab behind your legs, drop your feet, hinge forward, grow tall once again. As you roll past that tailbone once again, we're going to transition to our spine by lifting our feet and slowly rolling back onto our backs, 1 vertebra at a time. Dropping the back of your head to your mat. Pulling your knees into your chest. Relaxing your legs, relaxing your body, and gently rock your knees side to side. So gentle rocking here. And then bringing your fingertips to your kneecaps. You're going to circle your knees away from each other, out, down, around, back together. So slow, big knee circles, just loosening up that hip joint. And then switch the direction of your circles. On the next circle, let's pull our knees into a modified happy baby, pulling the left knee to the left armpit and the right knee to the right armpit. You can stay here. If you want more, lift your toes over your knees and grab hold of your toes, your big toes, or your ankles. Try to push your tailbone towards your mat. And then maybe you rock a little, like a baby rocks in a crib. And as we release our happy baby, let's bring our legs up the wall, as though your legs were sitting against a wall. You can support your legs with your hands behind your thighs, or you can drop your hands down to your mat. Legs up the wall is for your legs to be weightless while your body is grounded. You can also bend your knees into tabletop if you prefer. You can rock your legs side to side softly. Let us float the soles of our feet down to the mat with our knees bent. Let your arms come out to a T. Separate your feet so they're about shoulder width apart. Let both knees fall towards the floor on the right as you gaze to the left. Letting your top knee, your left knee, be heavier than your bottom knee. And breathe deep here. Slowly float the knees and your gaze back to the center as you let your knees float towards the floor on the left, gazing to the right. Floating the knees and the gaze back to the center. Let us bring the soles of the feet together here and let the knees fall away from each other into supine butterfly. Let your right knee fall to the right, your left knee fall to the left. If your lower back hurts here, you can tilt your pelvis up by pressing your lower back into the mat and pulling your belly into your spine, and it should release any awkwardness in the lower spine. Let us breathe here as you press the soles of your feet together with an inhale. And on the exhale, just relax the soles of the feet. Inhale to softly press in. And exhale to release. Inhale to press in. And exhale to relax. As we move into Savasana, final relaxation, you can stay in supine butterfly. Flip your palms up. Or maybe you straighten your legs, bringing your left heel to the left corner of the mat and the right heel to the right corner of the mat. Close your eyes and just totally relax. Just melt into your mat as you relax your body, relax your mind, relax your spirit and your breath. The more that you can relax, the more that your body will have more energy, be less stressed, more healing takes place. With each inhale, invite healing into your body. Take this time for yourself to just be. Relax your toes and the balls of your feet, and the arches of your feet, and your heels, your Achilles tendon, your calves, the backs of your knees, the backs of your thighs. Relax your buttocks. Just let them melt into your mat. Relax your spine, your lower spine, your middle spine, the upper part of your back, letting your shoulder blades just melt into your mat. Can you relax your shoulders just a little more? Relax your arms, the insides of your elbows, the insides of your wrist, the palms of your hands, even your fingers. Let them part and bend slightly. Let them fall as they may. And relax your thumbs. The more you relax your thumbs, the more your shoulders will relax. Relax your pelvis and your hip bones, your belly, your rib cage, your chest, your neck. Relax your scalp and all the muscles in your face. Relax them. Relax your forehead and your eyebrows, your eyelids, your cheekbones, your nose, your chin, your ears and your earlobes, even your jaw. Unclench your teeth. Let your teeth part. Let your tongue fall away from your teeth. Relax your lips and just be. With your eyes closed in this relaxed state, let us move back into those purifying breaths. The ones we began our practice with, where we inhale as deep as we can in through our nose. But this time, breathe so deep that you feel your tummy rising even higher. Then pause, and then you'll exhale all the air out of your body through your mouth. Inhale deep. And deeper, and exhale. And again, inhale. And exhale. And one more big, deep inhale, as deep as you can breathe in. Pause. And then exhale all the air out of your body as you return to normal breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And then if you're comfortable doing so, with your eyes closed, roll over onto your side, somewhat in a fetal position, representing renewal, rebirth. Let us open our hearts today. Let your hearts be filled with love. Love of yourself, love of others, and even love of the unlovable. Let your hearts be filled with grace. May you have grace in all circumstances. May your hearts be filled with gratitude, with joy. Let us be thankful for all of our blessings. Let us be thankful for the gift given to us at Easter. And may your hearts be filled with peace today. Let us pray for peace in our world, our country, in our own neighborhoods, and our own families. It all starts in our own hearts. May your heart be filled with peace today, and may you share that peace with others. And then if you can slowly make your way up to a seated position the way you began your practice today. As we come to a seated position, let us close our eyes. Let our chin drop to our chest. Let your spine go once again, letting your head be heavy as we open up this time for prayer. I give you an opportunity to lift your prayers silently or openly. I lift up a prayer for all the people on the front lines, from the nurses and doctors to the grocery store workers to the UPS deliverers to anyone that's out there that's putting their life on risk to help others. Let us always be that person that is willing to help others. And on the next breath, slowly sit back tall once again, lifting your gaze, lifting your heart, taking your arms out long, reaching with your arms. Inhale to float your hands up, and exhale, bring your hands over heart center. Peace be with you today. Namaste. Thank you for coming to our yoga practice today. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you, Karen. We're so thankful for you. That was amazing.
Glad you liked it.
Amen. For those of us that got to join live, thanks for being with us live. For those of you that will be joining later and you'll see this on YouTube or Facebook, we also welcome you and thank you for being with us. As we sit in the darkness of Good Friday, let us know that we have a God who sits in that darkness with us. And if you don't have a place that you're going to be going to church on Sunday morning, I do want to invite you this Sunday. We're going to have 100 wild ones telling the Easter story, sharing why Jesus' resurrection is meaningful to us. And we're going to have some very special guests joining us from 9 to about 10:45. We're going to have an extended just block of worship and music and sharing. So we invite you to tune in to YouTube or Facebook Live. We'll be here as well. So thank you for being with us today, and may God bless you on this Good Friday.